Hello and welcome to Popcorn and Plot Holes. This week we watched Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Say it one more time. Maybe we'll get Michael Keaton as a guest.
Beetlejuice. I guess it didn't work. Fucking Michael Keaton, lazy. Chris,
Yes,
Luciano,
sir.
welcome
Yes.
to the podcast.
Thank you.
you.
First time, long time since Spencer's not here.
We gave Spencer to Beetlejuice.
Yep. He's
They're gonna
now
get
working
married.
in a booth.
Mhm.
Yeah. He was.
He's a bop.
Yeah. This is gonna be cross lore from the other podcast, but he was mauled by wolves.
Oh,
Now
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this. We always start off with something positive in the movies we watch, just in case we might not like this movie or find some real problem points in the movie or anything like that. Who knows what we'll find? That's for you to find out.
Who knows?
Who knows? But let's start positive. Let's go with Chris. Chris, what did you like about this movie?
I liked one kind of bleeds into the other, and it's Delia Deets. We were talking in pre-show about how
Fucking shitting me?
we were talking about
All right,
how,
you do you.
how Catherine O'Hara leveraged a little bit of her Schitt's Creek character Moira into this, and it felt right, and it's very on the nose, but at the same time, I mean, she did Delia first, and then she's having a very great career, and then she's free to sample from her own buffet as she pleases. So I loved that, and then the dovetail that connects to is the Soul Train. That made me laugh. That brought me joy.
Yeah. Both times. When they said Soul Train, I was like, of course this is of course. Doesn't matter.
It's coming.
It still worked. Yeah.
Really nice send off before you really move on to the beyond.
Yeah.
That part gave me almost like Coco vibes.
Oh
you
yeah,
watched
yeah,
the movie
yeah,
Coco?
yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you
It's
should
a
watch it. It's a
wonderful
Disney
movie.
movie. It's about Dia de los Muertos. I probably butchered that, but don't kill me, everybody. And this kid's family is on the other side, and so he goes from life to the afterlife side, trying to find a family member. And
Dia de los Muertos.
yeah.
Okay.
I said I butchered it. And
No, I know. I was just
clearly
trying
I did.
to understand what you butchered. Okay.
Clearly, I butchered it by
He
the
was
fact that you were
trying
like,
to help.
"Oh, that thing." You clearly didn't say correctly. Nailed it,
Cool. Yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah.
Luciano.
Yeah.
What do you got for fun stuff in this movie?
I'm gonna say two things because I'm a rebel. So first thing is just Michael
Just like
Keaton.
Chris.
It's just Michael Keaton. He was having the time of his life.
True.
I think the first movie that I watched with Michael Keaton was Beetlejuice. So
Okay,
that was
not
that.
Jack Frost.
I don't think I've ever watched Jack Frost.
Don't.
Not multiplicity.
Don't. Okay.
Multiplicity.
Yeah, you
I
don't
remember
need to.
Jack
We're
Frost.
getting recommendations, both positive and negative today. It's good
yeah.
stuff. But my favorite part of the movie, just because of how jank and unexpected it was him telling his backstory in Italian, narrated by a completely different person.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton just not giving two shits about trying to even make the mouth match.
No.
He was saying, I fully believe he was saying what the thing was saying, like in English.
Sure.
Like just he was acting it in English, and then so he just decided to dub it
overdubbed
over.
later. Yeah.
And I thought it was just gonna be like a little thing, but he did the whole narration, and I was still laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even try to find someone with the same voice. Like it's a completely different person, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I was laughing throughout that whole thing.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think Michael Keaton knows the character Beetlejuice, and the usage of Beetlejuice was spot on through the entire thing.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, fun parts of the movie. I think the tone of the afterlife, it's still so uniquely Beetlejuice. Like as soon as you're there, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this from the last movie. They
Yeah.
still nailed that tone exactly. There's no other movie where you go to an afterlife that feels like that at all.
Yeah.
And I think that like you're right at home when you start into the Beetlejuice movie because you get that feel of the afterlife. You're like, oh yeah, okay, I know this movie. I know what's going to happen here. And they do a really good job of not actually beating you over the head with like things from the old movie. Like they're there, but they do follow. And for the most part, they follow the movie and the structure of the movie.
Right. Yeah. It's very like Tim Burton, right? Even if you
Sure.
like, if you watched other Tim Burton movies, and you never watch Beetlejuice somehow, and then you watch this, you go, okay, this is the Tim Burton movie. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does understand he stylizes his world in a very Tim Burton way, but he has that, he doesn't overdo it, or I mean, overdo isn't right, but you know what I mean? Like he knows the feel of that and is able to reproduce it.
Yeah.
It's almost like his signature.
It is
Whenever.
100%.
Yeah.
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 And you're here for it. It's like the one kid in art class that you don't get, but you want to let them cook, and when you just let them have their thing, like they come through
Sometimes. So let's start on. I don't know how to start this, so I'm just going to spit out a question and we can go from there.
Yeah.
So Astrid, who is Lydia's daughter,
Right.
is a teenager, and we find out about halfway through the movie she has her mom's gift.
Right.
Why?
I see. Yeah. Why is a good question. I just, as a parenthesis here, I legit thought your first question was going to be, how fucked up does a person's life have to be that he or she is fishing trash cans for benzos? But I guess we can skip that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I don't. So I liked how it was done.
Sure.
In the sense that she didn't know it was a ghost she was seeing.
Yep.
But
I don't.
It's cheap, I guess, that she also has the power.
It's, you know what it is? It's not even that she has the power. Is that she never uses it.
It happens
Nothing
to her.
It happens to her, and nothing becomes of it other than she reads.
It was a means to an end, is what you're saying? Like, it wasn't really like interesting. It was just like,
because she could see Jeremy could use her to get back into the real world.
Yeah.
But like her, in the first Beetlejuice movie with Lydia, like she was actively trying to help the Maitlands.
Yes.
Figure out how to escape the afterlife, and she was an active participant in everything that happened. The vehicle of her seeing ghosts made it work, but this one's just like, oh, you can see ghosts now too, so I can do this thing over here, and it's just
right, like it kind of freed her to do something rather than,
yeah, like no one. I mean, I don't know if this is 100% true, but it feels like the movie happens to people, not things they're doing things in the movie. Like, even Lydia's character, everything happens to her until Jimmy steals her daughter, and then she's forced to take action.
That's the only action. Even that was a reaction to something, but that's the only proactive or sort of proactive thing she does.
Yeah.
Because shit, just like even Rory just happened to her. And like Astrid being estranged from her happens to her, and Delia being fucking Delia happens to her. Like she's like a passenger basically.
Yeah, and so like that's the thing about the Astrid as a ghost whisperer. It's like, to what end? Like it's like it's the reveal, like you said, is good, but then are we to believe that if you are sent to the afterlife and you're not a ghost whisperer, then you would see nothing? It would just be empty halls. Right?
That would be so dumb.
You just go down. I was like, where am I? Why is this?
Where is everybody? Yeah.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Or floating objects being
ectoplasm tumbleweed.
Yeah.
So that's where I start to wonder. I'm like, okay, like I just don't see. And maybe I'm picking on Astrid as a problem when it's like, all the characters are problems in a way. Like if you want to talk about a character that is like, he actually works in the story, but it feels lazy, like
Mm.
Rory.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's I think Rory more than any, well, Dolores too, but like Rory probably, maybe not the most, but one of the most ones where this happens is like the character isn't really almost believable as a person. It's just a
Yes.
collection of traits that, like, you know that a person like that is going to react in a specific way to a specific situation, but when you put it all together, you go, that doesn't, there's too many sticks in this stick house.
Rory is Rory's presence in this movie as a character is is like what happens in family friendly movies when a bunch of kids stack on top of each other's shoulders and put a trench coat
Put a
on trying
trench
to
coat,
get
yeah,
past.
yeah.
That's
He-
Rory.
Yeah, he is like 7 tropes in a trench coat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeesh.
Because like he's, the narcissist,
Yeah.
and he is also the love bomber,
Yeah.
and he's the grifter that like
Enabler.
bums around, where sad women go just to pick sad women. He's also the enabler, like the junkie enabler, right?
Yeah.
So, but like,
It's
if you put it all together, it's like, how does this person survive as a human being up to this point?
Well, it's like
Right.
they offer up some interesting ideas in the sense that, Lydia's husband dies and she's in a moment of grief and she's trying to struggle through it, and they just use it for, I don't even know what for. It's just so they can put this guy here so he can summon Beetlejuice. Like,
Well, yeah, because like he was trolling the widows
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
group or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm not saying that doing that is fine, but that as a character is fine.
sure, yeah,
If it wasn't all of the rest of the shit, like him being kind of narcissistic or self-centered or whatever, that would come as part of the deal. But like all of the rest of the stuff, him, trying to get married to her for the inheritance, I guess, but that's never really
it's like I don't understand what his character is actually doing, because
exactly.
the explanation of his character comes at the very end when Beetlejuice makes him tell the truth through whatever magical
Yeah.
powers he uses. And so, like, when you watch him as a character, I think of, like, I don't know why this popped into my head, but when we watch Old School, and Bradley Cooper's there as like the boyfriend who's like overbearing and kind of, maniacal. I know it's a comedy, but you know exactly what his character is about, and his character fits in a slot in the story, and so it's like, it's fine, right? Like, he's annoying, but you understand what he's there for and what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Rory, I'm just like, it just feels like they needed a glue guy to make all this
Yeah,
nonsense
exactly.
work, and so they created this like character that had 40,000 traits, so they could stick this movie together. And
Yeah,
it's
like
like,
there was a
Swiss
bunch of
Army knife.
holes, and they created a character with a bunch of prongs to fit the holes, but it's
Yeah.
not a fully fledged thing. Yeah, yeah.
The problem with Rory as well is with all of those prongs and so on, and he's not clear enough. Like we already nailed the head. We already nailed it. Like he's the bunch of kids in a trench coat, right?
Yeah.
But the additional problem for me as we talk about this is that he wasn't sinister enough. Usually,
That's
and I don't
the thing.
want to.
yeah,
The character is sort of like he lacks, the character lacks like courage as a character to like, okay, like make him a complete dipshit. Don't try to make him, but he's like, quirky, and he's trying with Astrid, and which was the fucking cringiest thing in this movie, him trying
That's
to
all
relate
him.
to her. That scene was hard.
Yeah.
But like you said, like Chris, it doesn't get sinister or like evil enough.
he needs to. You're right. He needs to pick a lane. Am I sinister?
True.
Am I just so
Goofy,
like? Am
right?
I goofy? Am I so vapid? I don't understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He's aware enough to know exactly what he's doing, but still tries to portray it as like someone who is trying to genuinely convince you that he's not a con man, but in a way that's like
Unconvincing.
unconvincing, and so it's just like, I don't want to be
Yeah.
in any scenes with you. I don't. I
Right.
don't care.
I
about
don't want to
person.
see you in any scenes
Yeah.
either. Yeah.
And it makes it even worse. Like we as the audience get like see through it, and Astrid saw through it too at the wake.
Everybody sees through it except fucking
Lydia. Yeah.
Lydia.
Which honestly, they did like her character in the first movie is, it's not like the masterpiece of character
No.
design or whatever, but it's believable. And we were young and dumb in the 80s, so
Sure.
we also accepted more. But like we were saying this, but like her character is just like in the first movie, which doesn't make sense here. Lydia is supposed to be our stand-in, right?
Yep.
As an audience. But in this movie, it shouldn't be the case because she is already integrated into, right? So it should be Astrid.
Yes, exactly.
But Astrid is like, I don't know if it's Jenny Ortega's fault. I don't think it is. It's probably direction.
Yeah.
She just takes everything in stride. And I know it's supposed to be because her mom is crazy and her grandma is crazy and she's used to, but like even when things actually happen, she's so blasé about everything that I don't feel as
The shock.
the audience exactly, like I don't see the shock or the surprise mirrored. Like I got more surprised by fucking the reaction that Danny DeVito's character has to finding out that fucking Dolores stapled herself back together. That was the more like genuinely mirrored reaction than Astrid going, "Oh, okay. It's a book that tells me how to open a door to the afterlife. Cool, I guess."
Somehow,
Because I want to see my dad.
Yeah.
Somehow, Danny DeVito's like 3 minutes of acting.
He Laura Derned the heck out of this one.
Oh boy, he did.
Right? 100%.
Woo!
Cold Pursuit, folks. Cold.
I don't-
That was a day of shooting, and half of the day is getting him into costume or
like,
makeup.
You're right. Like I don't like he did like a. I mean, it's a bit part, but he nailed it. And like I come across every character in this movie, and except for the ones that we have, the baggage and the knowledge of from the previous movie, everybody else here is as milquetoast and as bland as possible to stitch a movie together. Like Rory is just like Rory's the everyman, so we can get this stuff done, and Astrid goes with everything and is like, I understand that she wouldn't be that shocked by ghosts because her mom's been talking about them and like she says they're real, but
she doesn't believe it, and it's a big part of like the sort of the attrition between them, right?
And then
or the friction between them.
Sure, because she says it right. She's like, how come we can't talk to Dad? Which is like
correct,
fair, but also weird.
Yeah,
but
it's very convenient.
It's convenient, right? But but like you're right, because when she goes to the afterlife, there's not a whole lot of wide-eyed wonder.
No, not at all. And I think there's some. I don't know which one is the egg and which one is the chicken in this case, but like she plays Wendy Adams, right? In the series. I haven't watched it, but I know it. Like I've seen some scenes and I know people like it.
Yeah.
But it felt like she was playing Wednesday Addams as Astrid in this a little bit. So that was sort of like the attitude. She was like, yeah. Okay. Oh, look, there's my dad and he has piranhas stuck to him the whole time.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, so it's I guess it leaves us without sort of a North Star as an audience to follow. You're just like I felt sort of like bamboozled along with Lydia on everything that happened in the movie.
Yeah, you're right, because everybody in this movie knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And like they're not shocked by anything that goes on, but
except for Rory, right?
But even he's not like
not enough at least, right?
I guess he is. You know what it is?
He fucking freaks out every time he sees Beetlejuice.
But
right?
I don't give a shit about his character.
Yeah, it's true.
So he's not my avatar in the movie because he sucks.
Yeah, I don't want, if that's an avatar, I don't want one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the additional piece too, like we've been touching on it, and I want to lift it just a little bit. In the first Beetlejuice movie, when they have the dinner party and then the possession takes place and they're all like,
which is the best scene in that movie, or one of the best scenes in that movie.
Yeah. Yes, but they have a legitimate reaction based on their characters. Like,
Yeah.
Whoa, what was that? Can
Yes.
we do that again? Like, we survived. Whoa. And then, like, that doesn't happen in this at all. I'm not talking about possession. We've touched on it. Reactions, dots connecting, motivations and stuff. Like,
Honestly, and I wanted to talk about him too. The character that Willem Dafoe plays,
Wolf Jackson.
Wolf Jackson, is more of a character than Rory is.
Yeah.
And how enlightened the casting it was to cast a man who can pass for a demon without makeup. I was like, when I saw Willem Dafoe, I was like, I was looking at the movie before and like looking at the cast. I'm like, oh, there's one person who they saved in makeup because he doesn't need any.
Give it. He's still.
It was great. No, I really enjoyed his character. Like,
I want to see more of him doing stuff. Like, they
could
gave
tell he
him
was
enough.
having fun.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
That was a good decision. They gave him room to do, and the script, at least for his arc.
He's a phenomenal actor. He just happened to look like a goblin in real life.
No, don't say that.
Damn.
I'm looking at him. She put some respect on Defoe's name.
I respect the shit out of him. Just don't respect his face.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we? I think overall this movie has been well received by
Yeah.
By who?
people, critics,
The audience.
Let me do
Okay.
our patented Rotten Tomatoes thing here.
Who are they?
But
How,
Give me their names.
I'm going to their houses. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask some questions. No, but like,
There's like 89% audience score or something.
Really?
I'll find it here. But my
Something like
question is,
that. I was surprised too. Yeah.
is like, does Tim Burton still have it? Is he?
No, he does
losing it.
not.
I think he's losing it.
79% popcorn and 76%
79.
tomato. So,
That is high still for this
Yeah.
movie. I find.
well. It's rare that the critics and the
agree. Yeah.
audience agree.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
high.
what was the last Tim Burton movie that I watched that was like he still has his like emo edge or like his
Emo
goth edge.
Goth fastball.
Yeah.
Sweeney Todd. Is that the one with the
Was
barber?
it with
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp? That
Like,
was a good movie. That was
It was a
movie.
good movie.
Yeah.
That was like 2014? No, 2012? 2013?
Yeah, something like it was a while ago.
Let's find out. Let's see.
But that movie was,
Let's see. What
On
year?
point.
What year do you think Sweeney Todd came out in?
I think, 2012.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2013.
Okay, so this is annoying because it's all his credits. Let me get to director.
Yeah. That was a good one.
And
That-
what you
Because you're not
said-
IMDb. You could have just gone on Google and said and just typed
No.
Sweeney Todd.
No,
and
I want to see everything. It's 2007.
7.
Yeah.
7?
So Coraline is after because it's 2008, right?
Did he direct? Coraline?
Fascinating.
Didn't he?
Not here.
I
might have
think
written
so.
it.
Oh, maybe he's just a writer.
Okay.
His Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is 2005.
That one I didn't like.
Frankenweenie was 2012. Alice in Wonderland was 2010.
Okay.
I mean, it's not great. So he directed 4 episodes of Wednesday, the TV show.
Hey, and those were good.
There
See,
you go.
that's the perplexing thing. Wednesday was last year. This is 2024 right now. Wait, yeah, this last year. Think.
2022. Yeah.
Wednesday was 2022.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but
Is
still,
that all
that's
that
recent.
fucking people talked about in 2022 was,
Yeah.
It
the
was-
Wednesdayisms, yeah.
It was superb.
Yeah.
And so how Sway?
I don't think it's like, okay, so obviously it's his fault to some degree because
Yeah,
this is a Tim Burton vehicle. We didn't even do the vehicle thing at the top because this is
Sure.
Beetlejuice.
Mhm.
It's a Tim Burton vehicle, even
Yeah.
if it doesn't show up.
yeah.
So, but like maybe it's like studio meddling. West Side
probably.
Boys.
West Side
Being
Boys.
West Side Boys.
Hey, let's.
One interesting thing here, and I'm just going to confirm it. He is not credited as a writer on this.
Oh,
That's concerning.
It was mishandled.
So he just directed. And, so it's hard. This is the thing. Like, we always talk about, the actors did this, or the director did that, or the writer did that. And, like, we don't actually know shit about
No, we
who
don't.
does what. Or just because he didn't write the story doesn't mean that, like, what was put on screen is the writer's fault. Like,
No, we all know, we've seen, at least I've seen, and I know you guys have too, interviews with actors and other people that participate in movies, and you know that some directors are just gonna follow what's on the script. Other directors, like Stanley Kubrick, didn't give a shit about the script. He would do what he wanted to do, and I'm pretty sure Tim Burton is the same. Right? If he needs to rewrite shit and put things upside down, he will.
certainly he has the cachet in Hollywood, especially when you're
Yeah.
you're basically, you have to go to him and be like, hey, we want to make a sequel to Beetlejuice. You need to get his okay to do that, right? I would assume.
His and Michael Keaton. And something I saw in this movie in the beginning that I wrote down even because it was so weird. Executive produced by Brad Pitt for whatever godforsaken reason.
Like
That's
the
true.
Bradley Pitt.
The Bradley Wolves Pitt. Yeah.
Wolfes?
Wolves.
Wilds.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird because
It's perplexing.
So there's the thing. I mentioned this when we watched Highlander, right?
Right.
That movies that you watch, when you were 15 or younger,
Yes.
and you watch it again,
Do it.
right? So I remember really liking Beetlejuice. I didn't watch it too many times. I watched it maybe 2 or 3 times. But back then, when I was like 10, 11, whenever that was, I didn't watch it in the theater for sure because it's 88 or
88. You're correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it got to Brazil later, and I didn't watch it in the theater. So, like, I must have been 11, 12 when I saw it the first time.
Sure.
I fucking loved it. I remember loving the movie, loving the character.
Yeah.
My nostalgia tinted glasses remembered the first movie being a lot more solid than this one. So I wonder how much of our or at least my dissatisfaction with this one is just me not being a 12-year-old anymore.
That's a very good question. I think I watched Beetlejuice fairly recently, maybe in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, well, because like
For the first time?
no, I've seen it plenty of times before. But like we like watching Halloween movies around Halloween. And it certainly is
that makes
movie
sense.
That fits into that category. And for I mean, I think one of the things it actually benefits from is this is a movie that was made in the 80s, and so to do all the effects and makeup and all the things that happen, there's a lot of 80s magic, but also 80s jankiness. And I think the 80s jankiness really helps make the movie feel Tim Burton-y, unique.
Right. Yeah.
And so, and it's not to say that this movie, because it's in 2024, it doesn't have that feel, but I think the magic of that movie is that you're seeing creative things you've never seen before and things that you just didn't perceive. And this movie kind of doesn't really iterate well.
Yeah.
Nope.
I was going to say that, like,
I agree.
We usually sometimes, this is what I was going to say. We usually sometimes say, English is hard. Yeah. We sometimes, call out that they make like sequels or remakes and they don't understand what people actually liked about those sequels. But like in this case, this is Tim Burton making a sequel of his own thing. Shit. How the fuck does he not understand what was good about the first one?
They understand the pieces,
right? But not the whole.
Well, no, but they don't iterate.
I see what you mean. Like they don't add to it. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's here. Yes, and they had a Megazord. They had a Voltron. Okay, they had a Mecha, and then they decided. And then the West Side Boys came in. They're like, "Hey, let's. So we got these really really cool mechas, right? Let's put a fire hydrant on it, okay? Because then we'll get the boys who like firefighters, and then it'll put them on, and it'll sell." But it doesn't fucking sell, and it doesn't work because those pieces don't go together. And then Luciano, you said something that I was just now that I was like gonna plus one and also think. You know how you see things when you were 15 years old and you should not rewatch them again. I've watched Beetlejuice for the first time end to end. It was chopped up over my youth because like TBS and stuff. Right. First time proper sit down earlier this month. Still great. A banger. Right. And in my youth, I watched the Beetlejuice cartoon every Saturday.
Oh boy,
like, I remember that,
and it was fine.
But
it was fine.
It was not fine.
It was fine. fine. As a kid who didn't know the rules
Fair.
and had not seen the movie, I'm like, and the toys that were coming out at the time as well, it was fine.
I want the audience to know, if you're not watching this video, Chris used air quotes very heavily when he said the word "fine." Just so we're all on the
that
same
was
page.
so many quotes.
So
in
many
the
air
air
quotes.
there.
I'm old enough now to remember that it it was something's off it, but like back then it was fine, kooky, crazy, Saturday morning cartoons, putting cereal, like shoveling cereal in your mouth and like watching the zaniness unfold.
It was not good.
Just fucking.
Anyways,
7-year-old, 8-year-old little Chris just dummying Frosted Flakes, plowing back sugar, just soaking in whatever cartoon.
And then they'd have like misadventures and stuff like that.
So much if you think about it.
The way I see it is, remember fucking Jim Carrey's Riddler?
Yes.
And he had that like the Enigma box, whatever they put on TVs, and it like melted people's brains to beam stuff into their brain. That's how I think little Chris's face looked every day on Saturday when he's watching cartoons, dumbing his.
I can't remember the.
It was a real life version of the melty smiley.
Yeah.
What was the look that ended up on their face? I know he did that. What do you guys remember the look? What was it?
A smile, obviously.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like Beetlejuice, 88, great cartoon. Fun, fine. All of that stacked and compared to what we were giving here with Beetlejuice.
Oh no,
Beetlejuice.
this is a big glass of warm water. Like there's nothing. Even so, like I said in the beginning, Michael Keaton
it's
obviously carried this movie.
Yep.
And that's because he is Beetlejuice, and like as much as this is Tim Burton's baby, let's say, like
sure.
Michael Keaton is the mom as well.
It's not called Tim Burton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like
Tim.
Yeah. So that like it was fun to watch him play the character again, and like actually the scenes with Beetlejuice being the beetleiest juice that he can possibly be,
the juiciest beetle,
he could possibly be. Yes. Like when he's like, whatever pun he makes when he says like, I'm just going with my gut, and then his fucking green intestines pour out,
fly out.
Yeah, it was great, right?
Yeah.
And him like teleporting to the booth to say you're shit out of luck or whatever it is that he stamps there, and he goes out like, all of those things are fun, but it's like it's a similar situation. And let me cook. It's a similar situation that with Rory. It's the scenes have the same problem. Some of those scenes are a lot of fun, the Soul Train and those scenes with Beetlejuice, but they don't come cohesively to make a story. And that to me is the problem. Like I watched the movie, I was like, okay, so that was, of all of the movies that I watched, that was one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it didn't even make me mad. It just made me like disappointed.
Yeah.
It gave me movie blue balls, if that makes any sense.
Well, I guess we'll try to watch porn for you next time. I'm not sure where to go with that.
I will not talk about porn in this podcast.
Well, I just wanted to get rid of your blue balls, and I don't know how to.
Give me a good movie to watch. That's all I need.
And then you'll just take care of it yourself.
Yes.
Like maybe a stranger, just to feel alive.
I'll sit on my hands while I watch.
That's a technical foul.
That's okay. So I mean, we didn't love this movie, and we've not even talked about the plot holes in this movie. So let's dive into that a little bit. We are, as we always do in this show, we're stretching plot holes to a slightly different meaning here. If you watch this movie, you'll understand why we're doing this. If you haven't watched it, I'll explain it at a high level here. The movie, on the face value, doesn't have plot holes, but if you just like go slightly deeper, like just one half level deeper, you realize that the movie doesn't have any plot holes because the movie is trying to accomplish like how many storylines? Like four or five, yeah. In like an hour and 35-minute runtime, which is, I was actually shocked it was that short given what they were trying to fucking accomplish. And so what happens is you end up with things like Dolores, Beetlejuice's ex-wife. That storyline is useless.
Completely.
Preach.
So it is a hole in the plot in the sense that you've wasted all this time talking about Dolores and nothing comes of it. It doesn't. If Dolores didn't exist, the movie would not functionally
Suffer.
change.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Like even Jeremy, which is saying something. Even Jeremy has more of a meaning to the plot, and to add insult to injury, not only is her plot completely useless, right? And it's like even him asking Lydia for help. Like, why would Lydia do against the Soul Sucker? Die, right? But it was a waste of Monica Bellucci and Danny DeVito.
Yes.
That is a crime.
Agreed.
I don't know what the plan there was.
Yeah.
I don't know if they cut story to make a runtime.
Oh, maybe.
I don't like Danny
That
DeVito
was
was
a
fine.
butchered job if that was the case. Holy shit.
Danny DeVito's fine. Like he was obviously just a throwaway character, and it's like that's fine. It's a red herring. I don't care. Like he's not anything more.
It's his Laura Dern stamp.
Sure, but
Laura Derney is the verb.
yeah.
Yes.
But like Monica Bellucci, like you see, it's like okay, so now we have a new big bad,
Yeah.
and we'll see where this goes. But like, it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice isn't even worried about her.
Not really. He just holds up in his like company, like office or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. I'd like to avoid confrontation. Just board the walls up, and we'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay. That was an impression that
I mean,
happened.
I didn't say it was going to be good.
It was a pretty decent impression.
That is fair.
I mean, we'll get somebody to animate that, and it'll look perfect.
Shout out to the creative direction team trying to bring back stop motion animation with like the airplane and then the sandworm. I appreciate
the airplane. I agreed. The sandworm was horrible.
Yes.
They brought it back. I didn't say it was going to be good.
I like the way what they did with like telling the story of how the dad died. That was funny. It was like out of nowhere, but it was funny.
Yeah.
But it's
Dolores.
Even and we skirted about this, like not just Dolores but Rory.
True.
Right? Like if it didn't really exist,
He exists for one reason only. It's that someone needs to be impetuous enough to summon Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
To get Beetlejuice in the game.
Yeah.
And you know it's not going to be.
It could have been Astrid.
It could have been, but like you could see that actually would have made more sense. But you can see how oh God, what's her name? Is Delia. Delia's not going to do it because Delia knows, right? Delia experienced it. Lydia experienced it, so it's fine. And like, so you like, if you pass on the idea that Astrid summons Beetlejuice because she doesn't believe in her mom at all,
sure,
then you do not need Rory.
Yeah, exactly.
Skip.
Like that whole shit in the beginning, right? Where he's like, "Oh, I'm your manager." Have to like that was completely useless.
Sure.
The marriage proposal completely useless.
Oh,
like all of it was like, and I'm left wondering. Again, this is a Tim Burton thing, like you said, Matt. This is nobody shoved him this into his throat and said, "You have a contract. You have." No, it's like they were probably kneeling at his feet asking for this.
Yeah.
Right, and so like, I don't understand. Maybe it was a cut thing. Maybe he was just like out for the money. But
are you saying we need to see the Beetlejuice director's cut to get proper exposition?
Honestly, unless that thing is like 3.5 hours long, I don't know how that's gonna work. Because like we were talking here, how many like we had the Dolores storyline, we had Astrid Jeremy storyline, we had Beetlejuice trying to get back with Lydia storyline.
Yeah.
Charles Dietz
dying storyline. We had fucking Delia getting bit by asps storyline.
Sorry, I have to bring this up too. It's like, okay, so you got to kill Charles because the actor went to jail. You don't want to deal with him,
right?
Well, why did he show up?
Exactly, just kill him. That's my point.
He's dead. It's fine. Like,
yeah.
I thought that's what they were gonna do, but nah.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, okay, so they cut Ed Rooney from this. I never remember the actor name.
Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones. So they cut off Jeffrey Jones. I didn't know why, but now we were talking about this before we started recording. That makes sense. But
Yeah.
like, just leave him out.
Yeah.
Like, why make someone imitate his voice? Like, it was funny him walking around with a giant shark bite.
Like
But-
I was kind of okay with that. Like that felt like it was.
You're right. At least he doesn't actually take up a lot of plot.
No, it was just like an interesting thing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like how he died, cutscene was not as necessary. Like I don't know, but it was mishandled. You know?
Well, yeah. And,
A lot of it.
And we had the, it's not a storyline, but we have the whole Willem Dafoe thing going on as well in the middle of all of this.
Yes.
That's 6. And
It's
then there's
so
also
many things.
And then the father.
Oh,
father.
yeah, finding the father. Well, but that's just like a little bit of a thing, right? And
But you're not wrong, because all those, like, the thing, again, I don't know shit from shit, so don't take this too critically. But the way I kind of expect to be shown a movie, it's basically Chekhov's gun, right?
100%.
If you show me that gun in the first third of the movie, act one of the
needs
movie,
to appear again. Yes.
then you're going to show me that gun doing pew pew in somewhere in the third
Yeah.
act of the movie. And they show things and don't do anything with them. And they don't show things, and then all of a sudden, like, they're doing stuff. Like, I'm not mad at the Jeremy Astrid storyline. Like, the whole thing, fine. Like, that if that was like the central premise of the movie,
Yeah.
that might have worked for me, right? Like,
Exactly.
it works, and it was like, oh, cool reveal, I get it. His parents are dead. That's why they didn't respond to him or turn away, because, like, blah blah blah. Fine, whatever.
It was a good twist. I was genuinely surprised.
Like, that was all
Same.
good, but.
Yeah.
But then you have, like, so he needs to bring her soul, and then that whole thing just, like, wrapped up with a nice little bow when it was convenient to get rid of that story. Everything was like, there was no, like, it feels like there's just no story. There's no actual, like,
There's no substance. Yeah,
there's no substance to the story.
There's a lot of like fluff and decoration, which is a thing that Tim Burton does really well.
Sure.
We were talking about
Yeah.
this before. But like,
Well,
usually
art
you
style.
want to put decoration somewhere, not
Yeah.
in the air, which is what he did.
But if you think about Beetlejuice, the original movie, right? Because it's the perfect foil to this. In the original movie, you got the Maitlands moving to this house,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
they're getting it set up, and they like living
Yeah.
there, and everything's cute.
Yeah.
And then they have an accident, and then you don't know what happened to them. And then all of a sudden, there's people in their house, and they're buying it, and then you slowly find out they
It's-
died, and you find out about the afterlife, and you
Yeah.
find out about this Beetlejuice character,
Yeah.
and they accidentally summon him, and they're trying to get rid of him so they don't die in the afterlife, right? They don't get eaten by sandworms and stuff. So it's about their survival and getting
Yeah.
assistance from the living. So the story all tracks, and at the end, everything's great.
And in all the while, us learning with the characters what the
Yes.
hell is going on, right?
Yes, exactly. And you have one villain in Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
providing, like, a danger and, like, zaniness and entertainment / horror to that backdrop to make it scary for the Maitlands to survive. That all tracks. And in this movie, it's like, okay, so we definitely got to show you Lydia, and we got to show you Delia, and we can't show you fucking Charles. So we got to kill him off. That's fine. Obviously, we need Beetlejuice because Beetlejuice is in the movie. And then for some reason, Beetlejuice needs an ex-wife.
An Italian ex-wife.
An Italian ex-wife that's hunting him down. And since Monica Bellucci's Italian, then he's Italian.
Yeah.
And then we have to have Willem Dafoe as a cop trying to chase down the soul sucker, because you can't have murders in the afterlife for reasons. And there's a dry cleaner in the afterlife because reasons. Who knows? But and it's fine. Like, I don't mind the world building, but it's just like all these little things go nowhere.
Yeah.
What is the central, like,
there isn't one.
what is it? What are you supposed to have in like the inciting incidents? Like,
Yeah, well, the main conflict.
yeah, what's the main
source,
conflict?
The source of there isn't one. Right, the main conflict is Charles Dietz dies,
Yeah.
and for some reason Delia wants to go back to the fucking haunted house to have the like,
closure
funeral
ceremony.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
that
yeah.
brings Lydia back to the house that's still haunted and blah blah blah. And I thought when I was reading, I was like, okay, so it's gonna be because of Lydia again that this is
Yeah.
no, it's because of Astrid who found the like it was so convoluted, and they
Yeah.
spent the first half hour, maybe 40 minutes, with getting them there and putting all the pieces in motion.
I paused at that point because I had to go do something, and I came back, and it was like 40 plus minutes of
There you go. Yeah,
I'm
it's
getting-
too much in an hour and a half movie.
yeah.
Yeah. So you could cut like half of these plots. And I honestly, of all of the plots, I think the most fun one would have been, I think, the Jeremy one, like just from the beginning,
Yeah.
having it be that instead of it being like, because the Dolores one is too, first of all, too, how do you say
Too
it?
much.
It's not just too much. It's like it's too generic and too.
Well, we'll never know because they didn't do anything with it. Like they showed us like it's like window like they showed us this thing this like delicious thing in the window, but we don't know what it's like because
it's
we
a
never get to
cardboard
taste
cutout.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like to plus one onto your like the Jeremy plot line like thread, that would have been good, and that would have potentially connected to the father thing, because my biggest problem with this movie is that it lacked heart, except for Astrid's like the Astrid's relationship or longing for her father, which Lydia was also very closed off to that aspect and which was very unsettling and
has just Winona Ryder being checked out. That's what it felt like, at least.
Yeah.
And they did Lydia's character dirty. She had so much more backbone in the first one.
Yeah.
But like, sure, real life situations, life, change, loss, okay, but it's like she stopped being a parent to her daughter after that event. I guess she just shipped her off to private school.
Is not unrealistic in like
that could happen.
But then again, lean into it. Don't just like give it to me as a throwaway. Oh, by the way, she has depression. Don't do that. Like either don't do it or explore it. Don't just throw it away. It's like it's a bunch of like balls in the air, but nothing really goes anywhere because the Jeremy plot gets solved by Deus Ex Machina or Diabolus Ex Machina in this case, I guess, because he's a demon. The Dolores storyline gets sandwormed for also no good reason.
Because it's in the book, right? Like it just like happens to be a chapter in the book to explain the exact situation.
How convenient. Where's Church Lady when you need her? How convenient.
And it's not like if she had got the book and you see her like going through the book and reading it and trying to learn stuff and the book isn't, in a reasonable manner, it would be fine. But it's just like her mom grabs the book and then at the very end when things are going bad, she rips through and just happens to find the right page. It's like, it's not wrong to have coincidences or conveniences in a movie, but they relied heavily on it. Like why is the dad a ticket clerk?
Yeah. And just happen in the whole of Afterlife.
Yeah.
Why would he be there to see her?
Right.
Yeah. There's no reason for it.
Yeah. And then why do they know if they draw a circle on the floor, it'll bring in a sandworm to eat Dolores and Dolores.
Yeah.
And
a lot of questions.
To me, here's the question that I was, as I was watching the movie, and ever since I saw Monica Bellucci or Dolores restaple herself, I was like, what does she actually want? Does she want to kill him?
Yes.
He's dead.
Double kill him.
That's a problem.
Well, she has the power of soul sucking, and as Rock Hard Jackson, what's his name?
Wolf Jackson.
Wolf Jackson.
His name is Rock Hard Jackson.
You've been blue balls infected.
as Rock Hard Jackson has told us, she will kill you dead. So like they create this situation where someone can double murder you in the afterlife. Fine. It's your world. You can describe it how you want. But she just wants to kill him because he killed her.
And she also kills other people for no reason.
Sport. Just to prove she has the power to dead them. It's fine to do in Danny DeVito once. We get it. I have no idea what any of the rest of the killing the guy and the wedding dress. I have no idea. Like,
what is it?
Exactly.
Okay, so she's a soul sucker. What is
Is
what
it
is the
sustenance?
benefit? Yeah, is she eating? Is that what she's doing?
See, look at us, viewers. Look at us
Listeners.
spiral into the madness of Beetlejuice.
it is, Chris, you're right. It's like we talk about John Wick all the time as being the poster movie we like to reference in terms of it's cool when you don't explain all the plot.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's nice to imagine things. You know, when they talk about the world and the Continental and the coins, mystery is good there because we understand what coins are doing. What coins normally do, they buy things.
Coins be coining.
How do you get the coins? What are
They do this in this movie too. Where does the soul train go? It goes to there's a bunch of station names. That's it.
Yeah,
That's perfect. Just leave it at that, right?
yeah. And they do at times the book telling Jimmy how to take Jeremy.
No, keep it. I caught it the first time, and I was like, "If I'm okay with it," but now stick the landing, my man.
Yeah, Jimmy Jer
Jeremy
gives him the idea of how he Jimmery. Thank you. It tells Jimmery how he can get back to the real life, right?
Yeah.
But like, first we find out he's dead, and then we find out he murdered his parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, like,
Yeah.
why did he murder his parents? Like,
They don't say. They make up some bullshit reason like, oh, he was crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
But
like,
again, no time to elaborate.
but that's where you lose me. If you're not going to tell me characters' motivations,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you don't have to tell me how a coin works or how a hotel works for assassins. That's cool. You don't have to tell me how this book works. There's just information, and I get it. But when you don't tell me why a character wants something,
Yeah.
that I don't know what's happening.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same
This
thing.
A
At all.
MacGuffin you can leave unexplained.
Yes.
Right? You don't ever need to see what's inside the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
No.
You don't. Right? But if you don't know why the characters are doing what they're doing, it's like, why am I watching this? What is the fun? Like, why do I care about what these guys are doing?
You guys, I think I've cracked it.
Great, thank God.
I think
Tell me.
We've workshopped and we've sleuthed this movie to the point of return. This movie is chock-a-block full of NP fucking C's.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Even all the main characters are NPCs. You're right.
This movie has
you're absolutely right.
It's lacking the heart, like we highlighted, and it's also lacking more like the edge that the OG version did, because with the Jeremy plotline, the horror of the reveal that he killed his parents, they could have leaned into that, and they were scary moments in the OG Beetlejuice, right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
And what do we know about NPCs? What do NPCs do to you in a video game?
They repeat. You talk to them, you burn up all their lines, and you talk to them again.
Fair. The way I look at it is like
Yes.
they distract you from the main quest.
Yeah.
Ooh, cook.
Not all of them, but like any NPC not related to the main quest is there to waste your time.
And that's the thing. They're not just NPCs. They're like side quest NPCs.
They're side quest givers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just here when you come to the town on the main quest, and they're like, discover the town. Can you please go kill me and get me 6 boar livers?
800 chickens.
Yeah, 800 chickens.
Yeah.
I need 50 porcupine quills. And you're going to have to kill like 100 of them because not every porcupine has a quill for some reason.
Yeah.
That's this movie.
Now this is giving me flashbacks of killing rocks.
You're welcome.
Get me 99 rock feathers and you kill one and it drops 0 feathers. I'm like, what is this magic that I have that defeathers all of these fucking words?
Yeah.
You have collected none.
That is
so. It is. This movie is a collection of side quests without a main quest. I think that's.
And that's perfect example, because then and like that, none of the side quests really connect.
Matter. Yeah.
Or matter. Connect or matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just do a bunch of side quests and then all of a sudden we're done. It's like, oh,
wait, what?
am I finished the game?
The most unsatisfying end in the world. Like, was like, wait, was that the what?
So
I've managed to complete 75% of the game. All I have left is a quarter. What?
who was the big bad? Was it Dolores? Is it Beetlejuice?
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Dolores. Yeah.
Was it the priest? Like, who did I?
Well, the priest is the bad guy in another story that we should probably not talk about. That priest was sus as fuck. So sus.
Did any of you laugh during Charles Dietz' funeral when it concluded, and then Delia is off to the side and the priest tries to come over and console her, and he's like, quote, 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 sermon. And she's like, what?
I didn't understand anything you said.
What?
Yeah.
And she wasn't like, it was like, that didn't help me at all. What the fuck did you just say? Anyways.
It's the whole movie in a nutshell.
See?
We rambled a bit, but we rambled because the point is that the plot is just it's side plots, as we said. It's side quests, and so it's so hard to dig through all these little side plots to figure out where the plot holes are. When the reality is like
the holes are in between, right?
Yeah, you've just tied a bunch of like plots together, and then. But they're all misshapen, and so when you look between them all, it's just like there's a gaping hole here and a gaping hole here and a gaping hole here.
That's exactly what it is. And the solution isn't like sometimes we talk about how we will solve this.
Yes, exactly.
Pick a fucking plot and stick with it. Just that one.
That's it. It's the solution isn't to like put some glue or some some whatever to like connect them all. It's just like kill two.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, I think I said this before. The one to do this with would be the Jeremy plot, because you can rope everyone in.
Yeah.
If it was starting from the beginning with him making a plan for escaping, you could get Rock Hard Johnson on. It's I said what I said. You get Rock Hard Johnson involved because someone trying to escape the afterlife.
Jeremy, aka I wrote in my notes before, I call him Ghost Throbby.
I don't like that.
Well, for calling him
he's supposed to be a heartthrob, right? Ghost Throbby.
Yeah,
that sounds like a ghost penis. Anyways,
the problem is like the word throb is almost as bad as the word moist. So
yeah.
Anyways,
you could rope everyone in, all the characters in, like just give have Monica Bellucci give her pay back to the studio and get her, like, it doesn't matter, just stretch the Jeremy plot.
It's all there.
The whole movie.
It's all there, right? The movie starts with Charles dying. Great. You have your incident to get her back to the town, and then she meets him, and they can spend some more time together.
A longer time before you discover it.
Yeah, before you discover it all, and then they spend more time in the afterlife. It's not just as easy as showing up and switching her out and getting a number. Your stamp and then leaving type thing. Yeah. And then the mom's already messed up and she's confused, but when she realizes what's happening, just like she does in the movie, of course she turns to Beetlejuice because she needs help and she doesn't know, and that all makes sense. And then you have to escape yourself from the clutches of Beetlejuice at the end. Great, that's all there, and it's there. Like, the story's there. You just have to. You need some filler there, but it's maybe like meeting someone in the afterlife to help outside of Beetlejuice or something. It's
Charles, like the dad, Charles's dad. I mean, the Charles Dietz, maybe.
No, because you can't.
Or the real father, sorry.
Sorry. I mean, it's fine. You can't use Charles Dietz because he's a monster in real life.
Yeah. I meant to say the father.
But you're right. You could have, if you're going to have his head chopped off, then at least you have a reason to be there. He can help. Or you can find the real dad, but maybe it's a little bit harder to find the real dad.
Richard.
Conveniently. Richard isn't just, but it's all there, right? And so that's the solve for this, is just, it feels like, I don't want to beat this horse deader than it already is.
Yeah.
You might kill it dead.
Dead. Yeah. There is dead apparently.
Yeah.
NPCs, man.
I think that's it. It's just pick a plot and run with it. Give it time to, unfurl.
Yeah.
Good one. Unfurl.
Let's unfurl some questions.
Let's segue.
Hey, man. Mine was a professional segue. You can't just say segue. That's unprofessional.
I'm trying to be supportive. I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
No, but you can't tell the audience. You can't say segue. That's not professional.
I can do whatever I want. Listen, we were in a very low place as a team just now. Let's keep the team. Let's get the energy back up. Okay, with the wonderful word from our sponsor. We don't have a sponsor. It'd be great if we had a sponsor, because then we could do things like real placements, maybe make some money to buy coffees and donuts. I don't know.
I don't know what just happened, but
Don't worry.
Segue.
I was gonna say this is why we needed like a visual combo.
Professional segue.
Segue.
Professional segue, which is now just segue. We'll fix it in post. It'll be fine. I have some fun questions for you. Where should I start?
Ooh.
You know how the Bobs, I'm calling the Bobs, even though I saw one had a name tag with like Brad or Billy or something.
They're all Bobs.
They're all
in
Bobs.
our
To me,
hearts.
in the heart.
So Beetlejuice breaks into the afterlife to get Lydia in, and he leaves a giant hole in the wall. And he's like, make sure all the Bobs work. And as soon as he leaves, the Bobs all run out and run down and scare the shit out of Rory. And then we never see them again.
Right.
Where are they? What are they doing? What's happening with the Bobs? Because Rockhard does not go and get them.
No, Rockhard Johnson just stays there with his dick in his mouth. In his mouth?
Okay. Damn. Willem's just catching strays.
It was a Freudian slip if I've ever seen one. I was going to say, I think I work with a couple of those Bobs, if I'm honest.
Wow.
Exactly. That's how they sound.
Let's not tell people where we work. I don't have any Bobs on my side, but I think that the Bobs are, and I'm sorry for your Bob loss.
Bob Ross?
I think Bob Loss. Let's put some respect on Bob Ross's name. I think the Bobs are each living their best afterlife life. I think they're out there trying to pursue their passions. One is probably trying to get on PBS, trying to get a show off the ground on the virtues of gardening and getting your hands into the earth, like, because he misses it so much. Like, he hasn't touched dirt. He hasn't touched grass. And who knows we don't know how old these Bobs are. Could have been a millennia. I don't know. So that's one.
Those heads are really shrunken, so who knows? Yeah.
And
I think I heard that there's one trying to get a remake of Office Space. But like Afterlife edition.
Excuse me. My stapler. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I think there's good. What?
I was gonna say, just instead of beating up a printer, they beat up Beetlejuice in the movie. Which I think it's fair.
Yeah. I asked for my death day off.
Yeah.
Because the script has been flipped, and then another Bob, he's or they, I don't know. He's been trying to fill the void of his hero Anthony Bourdain, and so he's traveling the world because he wasn't traveled before. Now he's going around. He's going to Portugal.
Chris,
yes.
Could one of the Bobs just be Anthony Bourdain?
I mean, yes. Now he could be. It's incredibly dark, but
maybe Anthony Bourdain talked to the wrong person in the afterlife.
He got his head shrunken, and now he's working.
Tried to skip the line.
He works in a random generic office doing generic office things.
He can't talk, so how would you know?
That is fair. Can he eat? That would be sad if Anthony Bourdain couldn't eat anymore.
That's why Chris is right. He got out, and he's back to eating.
He has a Bourdain after dark
food
show.
Yeah, Bourdain Afterlife.
Where he tried.
It writes itself.
He writes itself. The only problem is he makes all of that great food, but then he can't eat it because he can't open his mouth.
And like he's clearly avoiding all kinds of I don't want to say OSHA, but what's the food grade? What do you call those? Food grade.
FDA.
You mean like the health inspection stuff?
Conditional passes.
Actually, he might be fine because he's probably like wearing gloves.
Yeah, but being dead, I feel, has a detrimental effect on your permission to handle food.
So maybe he oversees because he did some hiring, and
maybe the Bobs are pretty tall. He can oversee stuff.
It's their time to shine. Like, this is their life career.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I think it's okay that if we're gonna let undead zombie demons roam the earth cooking food. I don't think we need to worry about if it's approved by OSHA or the FDA.
We
let the
have bigger
whimsy-
problems.
We
Yeah.
let the whimsy fly a little farther, extend out a bit.
Oh,
Let
it's
us have that
whimsy.
one.
Whimsy is what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Food poisoning is whimsy.
Listen, I can tell you it's not whimsical, but
The bar is quite low.
There
and
is
so
a reason
this
why
is like-
we skipped a week.
but Bob Bourdain fed me some food. It
Bob
did not go-
Bourdain!
Did not go well for me.
Anthony Bob Dane. Come
Bob Dane?
on.
It does. Anthony Bourdain
Because he can't
presents
come. Yes,
Bourdain Afterlife.
the Bourdaining.
Bob Dane Afterlife.
Bob
the
Dane
board
Afterlife,
the Bourdainment, because he can't. I don't know. Is there are there rules to this? Like, I don't know. Like, can
No,
if you
he's
get back
just
out
a,
into the.
he's just a,
You can't assume your previous persona, your alive persona, can you?
well,
gotta-
he's trying to get back to that.
Yeah,
you know.
there's clearly a vacuum in the market space for where he was. So
He's still trying to recapture his glory days of living.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay.
he escaped. You know, he's just trying to find his way in the world. You know,
Yeah. He's
Well,
he's gonna fall back on what he knows best.
maybe 5 years from now, he's figured out it's not what his true passion is, and he switches to like artwork. We don't know, but for this moment in this Bob Dane's life, he's back. He's back, baby.
I don't know, man. I think he would go the other direction. He'd go hard into the food stuff. He would have like a undead chef show, like a reality show for other.
Oh my gosh!
for
Like
other-
like
Yeah,
bam!
yeah, and then you have
Dead!
like Gordon Ramsay saying, "This is rancid," and the other undead.
You got
will
that
go,
right.
Yeah, that's what I like. Rancid is what I like. Yeah.
It's like it's true. It's an untapped market. Like hipsters and so on be like, "Have you tried this amuse bouche? It ruins your taste buds, and
It gives you food poisoning and diarrhea.
you know,
Have you
and
ever
foot and mouth disease.
have you ever had your body
Gotta try it.
so completely ruined?
That you have to go on a cleanse for 3
I
months.
ate Anthony Bob Dane's hors d'oeuvres, and it was like a cleanse. I tell you,
Yeah.
my
Every-
innards are entirely rebuilt.
Every single orifice cleansed.
Cleanse
Yes,
and
For
it wasn't a
days.
good cleanse.
I lost
days.
20 pounds.
Yeah. All of my water just expunged.
Yeah.
Cleansed. All right, I think we've nailed that one. Thank you.
Bob
But it does. We're talking about jobs for the Bobs, and it does bring me to another question in general. So we see the Soul Train.
Soul Train.
So when you die and you actually get processed, you're allowed to get on the Soul Train.
Right.
But like, Rock Hard's got a job. Piranha Dad's got a job.
Beetlejuice got a
Beetlejuice
company.
has got a job.
You gotta pay. You
He's
gotta.
got a whole. Yeah,
He's an entrepreneur.
he is an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. How do you get hired? Like, how do you like? I don't. You guys tell me, but like, is it a choice? Are you barred from the Soul Train? Like, how does this all work?
I think it's like a window of. I think it's a window, and I feel like
Well,
it's like if you have unfinished business, you have to make a choice. I think there are a lot of there's still choice in the afterlife if you're aware of it. Otherwise, you get swept up into into a flow.
I don't know
And so-
about that, man.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
Because look at the ones that actually have jobs. It's Piranha Dad.
Yeah,
Is that blonde lady?
Spearheart.
Spearheart. So, the younger, slightly weird sister of Braveheart. Spearheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have Rockhard Johnson.
Yeah.
They're all white. None of them know how to dance.
Now, what about the blue cops?
What about them?
They're all
They're blue because they're dead. They used to be white.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That's the
you're
thing.
assuming a
You
lot,
have-
sir.
You have to know how to dance to go to the
To get on the
train.
Soul Train, you got to
Yeah.
have rhythm in order to go to the
A
next.
little bit.
To go to the
Oh,
beyond.
So if you don't have like
It's-
some Latino blood or something, you can't go.
Caribbean blood. Or,
Yeah.
What about the Mormons?
What about them?
Do they get jobs or do they go on the Soul Train?
I think they would.
They get
default,
jobs.
They would default to jobs.
Okay.
They get jobs because the Great Beyond. If you talk to the afterlife management, the Great Beyond is another club.
Sure.
It's an ongoing party.
so this
like
really-
Club 54.
This really
Studio
is just
54?
Coco.
I don't know.
That's fine. No big deal. So okay, but like Charles can
charge?
dance because he can't dance. He
That
had to
is
be-
true.
he
You
had
have,
to be-
have to have a full body to dance.
Yeah,
No, you don't. He doesn't even have a head, and he can talk in the
but
afterlife.
that is
in
true.
the original Beetlejuice, he can't dance. He had to be
Possessed.
Puppeteered, yeah.
possessed. Yeah. So
But
that does
it
that count?
happened.
Maybe
his
maybe
body
some
was
muscle
moved
memory
in
stayed,
ways.
right?
Okay.
You know, and when you learn how to move your body and stuff, even if you're puppeted, that like there are benefits to that. Like
I mean,
there are benefits to
I
that.
gotta be honest with you.
Hey, Mr. Kaliman, calling me banana.
Daylight coming,
They absolutely fucking butchered that song in that stupid like fucking
at the end, the
no in the
wedding?
beginning when they do the funeral.
It's
I
fine.
hated it.
Oh,
It was for the children.
No, I think there's a combination of
it was for the children.
it was
like
by
Wu-Tang?
the
Nah.
children because children was
By
singing
the
it.
children,
For
but it
the
wasn't for
children.
the children.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a combination, going back to your question, of not having rhythm,
Right.
maybe having the right or wrong religion, depending on your viewpoint.
Sure.
Losing my religion.
And I guess you could, like, to Chris's point, I want to yes and his idea. I think it's a choice to some degree. Like, if you really want that 9 to 5, booth job, to really replicate the best parts of your life, who is the afterlife to deny that to you?
We need someone in booth 17. Richard, you're new. Richard, you're now in booth 17.
Does-
it's better than shoveling.
Coal on a space ship?
Yes.
Sure is. Don't know where I got
Yes.
that reference from.
Gets everywhere on the body.
Don't watch Rebel Moon. Just saying.
Don't.
Okay. No, I think this is all very valid. I have no further
Thank
follow-up
God.
questions.
Thanks, Your Honor. Gavel.
Oh, fuck.
Yo,
We almost escaped.
Yeah.
I have a different question, so we can skip past this.
a Dern question?
No,
Oh,
Jeremy.
Yes.
How
Throbby.
does Jeremy skip the line in the afterlife? Because everybody else that gets to the afterlife is like, wait in line, here's your number,
Millions.
and you're going to die. And Jeremy just rolls up and is like, hey, I'm here, and XYZ, and they, he's through the line in, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour.
Yeah, as Ghost Throbby once said,
No.
white privilege.
It's not a thing. I was actually going to say white privilege too, but that doesn't work.
I thought he worked.
That doesn't work though, because ain't nobody whiter than Delia, and she has to go full Karen on the thing, and she still doesn't get to skip the line. So I think it's more because
Patriarchy.
yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say it might be because of the way that he was there, like maybe it was like a accelerated program, or
Because of
he had
the
some sort of VIP
loophole
pass.
with the soul.
Yeah.
So it's a time sensitive procedure.
Yeah, he has priority shipping
Do you
from
have to-
Amazon Prime.
Do you have to pay part of your soul to get that, or
Yeah, I mean, just like we have to do when we pay for Amazon Prime, he
that
has
is
to give up
true.
part of his soul. Yeah,
That is actually true. Yeah, that makes sense. And that tracks.
It adds up. That's an equation.
there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
White
I think
privilege.
that's why he gave a little bit of his soul to Jeff Bezos, and he got thrown to the front of the line.
He had Amazon Prime at life, and he kept it in death, and that's why he got to the front of the line.
There you go.
Bezos is dead?
No, Bezos is the devil, is what we're saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Administration power.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong at all. Okay, fair enough. Good answers. Hey, the handbook for the recently deceased.
Go on.
We see pages of the book, and it kind of covers. We see it covers the sandworms, and I guess there's instructions on how to steal someone's soul and open up a door or whatnot. We don't really know what's in it, so I'm curious. What are some of the important chapters in that handbook?
That is a good question.
Obviously, one is Amazon Prime for the recently deceased.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Do you have a package? A package? How do you send a package from one side to the other side?
The first 10, 12 pages of that chapter is how to pee in a bottle. That's what you get.
Why do you have to pee in a bottle?
Because you're working for Amazon now.
You work for Amazon when you die?
Yeah.
I thought you just could have Amazon Prime. I didn't realize
You could.
work.
It's both. It's how you pay for it.
Ooh, okay. Fair enough.
Hard.
Urine.
Afterlife is hard.
Ectoplasm urine?
That's a real
Ectoplasm,
shock.
Yeah.
That would really shock me.
Yeah. What
Are
else
you
they
okay?
have there?
There's also the chapter.
Taxes for the recently deceased. Probably.
Sure. Yeah, you got to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
The only thing sure in life is death and taxes, and the
And
only
in
thing sure
death.
and afterlife
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
is death and taxes.
Yep.
There's also what do you do? I blanked. I passed.
Yeah. It was like, what do you do when you don't know how to answer the question, but you already started answering?
Yeah,
There's
There's three chapters about that.
I buffered.
Alone.
there's 3 chapters that are actually just completely blank.
That tracks.
We
they
got
wanted to leave space in case they adjust the volume. They can just
No, they wanted to get to
a living
666
document.
pages, so they just.
But there's so many scenarios across the whole experience, right? The whole life afterlife experience. It's a living document that constantly grows. If ever they made a Beetlejuice 3 or whatever, and I don't think they should, it would be great if the book got larger, significantly larger, where more scenarios could unfold, because we had scenarios that we couldn't have foreseen happen here. Another chapter that takes place is how do you handle food? How do you handle food in the afterlife?
But it turns out it's 2 pages, right?
No, it was 2 pages, but now that Anthony Bob Dane is a thing, he's writing that chapter.
No, but Anthony Bob Dane is in the mortal world.
Yeah, but he can still we've seen the book in the mortal world too.
Yeah, but you can't add to it if you're in the mortal world. You gotta.
I see. That's a read-only copy.
It's a read-only. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
For him to be able to take all his knowledge back,
has to come back. That's Beetlejuice 3. Beetlejuice 3, the Bob Dane expansion. That tracks.
Yeah. Anything about dealing with the afterlife or
no, nothing like that. Why would you need that? It's not you're in a completely new situation that you have no idea how to deal with.
Entrepreneurialism for afterlife.
Yes.
You want to start a business.
There's a short chapter, a page or two, on how to dye clothes with your bare hands.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Sure.
That's an important one, just in case you're wearing clothes.
Yeah. I mean, what if the dress is red and you want it to be black? What are you going to do?
Seamstressing? What is it?
No. It's just clothes dyeing.
Yeah, it's not
dyeing. It's called dyeing and clothes dyeing. That's what it's called.
I thought it was called dying for the dead. Okay.
Dyeing and clothes.
Yeah,
and
that works.
Yeah.
There's also, since we see next to no real technology in the afterlife, and a lot of it's paper processing.
Yeah.
I think there's also a chapter in terms of there's a map of the afterlife in terms of a lot of the businesses and in what districts they exist around stationery, because so much of what we've seen is paper based. So stationery, bookstores, how to get to them. Do you that also brings up the question of what to do in an afterlife library?
You've basically just described afterlife yellow pages.
See,
but they're white because they're dead.
Yeah, obviously.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the yellow pages died and it became white because you get.
Why aren't they? Oh, I thought you would. Well,
the color drains.
I'll take that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll take that, because if you said the black pages, then that probably would have been a problem.
Yeah, I would not have said black pages then.
We're not going
See, this is why I trust y'all, motherfuckers.
Yeah, all right, what else? I think there's also, when you go to a shopping mall, and there's a "you are here" sort of situation. Mm-hmm. So that's the last page of the book is sort of
an unfolding paper.
Yeah, an iterative magical map.
Similar to
and because it is the afterlife, it is 1,000 folds.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every
it,
time
like,
you
turns-
turn the book, like it changes completely,
Yeah,
It's pretty
100%.
cool.
You can never fold it back up.
and you can never
And
find where you're going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look at the index, you can also find the section on how to Beyblade battle in the afterlife.
It's
Those
very
things
important.
are loud.
No, it's actually, that's how you get your social standing in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Beyblade. Okay. I think
The
we've covered this.
the barter system in the afterlife is Beyblade.
Yeah, obviously. I think we've covered this pretty succinctly.
No, we didn't.
As one does.
Well, it's only a couple.
Yes, and
It was
yes,
extensive.
and Luciano. Yes, and
We can't cover every chapter in the book.
That
would be
is
giving
fair.
away
That
some
book is
secrets.
because it's a living document. It's
Yeah.
always growing,
Always growing.
like Rock Howard Johnson.
Wow.
Nice.
From the mind that brought you Throbby comes
Listen,
always growing Rockhard Johnson.
That was his nickname in high school.
Yeah, Throbby.
No, always
his
growing.
yearbook photo. It's like that's
Yeah.
keep on trucking, always growing.
Rockhard Throbby quotes Johnson.
The rocks may throbbing. Johnson, Oh, man.
let's review this
Jackson.
godforsaken movie and get the fuck out of here.
please.
All right.
We use our patented reviewing system. It is the S tier system. S is
S.
the best. F is the worst.
The best.
Tell me why you picked your letter.
Mm-hmm.
Luciano, do it.
How to
You can
review
do
a
it.
movie that is just a bunch of scenes in a trench coat.
Mhm.
It was disappointing. I did not. So there's the thing. A sequel that comes 36 years after the first movie with nothing in between is a hard pill to swallow as a concept. At least, for me, it was like, there's no way that this is a story that needs to be told. So I already kind of went in a little biased, I have to say, which usually works in the movie's advantage because you go in with a lower expectation
Right.
and the movie kind of surprises you. In this case, unfortunately, I would have to say that it actually lives up to my, or maybe lives down to my expectation of being not really that good. The story is not that really we've beaten this horse to death, afterlife, and back to life again, and it's just not there. There's no acting required. Only Michael Keaton really acted in this movie. Let's be honest.
And Rockhard
And
Jackson.
True. I'm sorry. I have to put some respect on Willem Dafoe.
Just tell
I
me.
I fucking hated. I called this when I was starting to watch the movie. I called this on our group chat that I'm sure they're gonna repeat the stupid mind control dance scene, and I was absolutely right. And I hated that I was right because I love that scene from the original movie. It's my favorite scene of that movie, and they fucking butchered it here. So all in all, with all the stuff that we said and like it just being bland and uninspired, this is an E for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris, what
I
do
thought you were
think?
gonna go with. I'll just you didn't pick up. You didn't play that shit. I shall. This movie is a throbbing F. Okay.
Okay.
I thought that's what I thought you were gonna do that.
No,
and then you were
no. I was actually leaning on D before we had our conversation, but as usual, when we talk, I was like, oh yeah, it is
there are more
much
reasons
worse.
to say.
Yeah.
So this movie is a throbbing F compared to the OG adventure, and like it's disappointing because like when you look at the cast and the reasons that we unpacked based on its potential, it's a sequel that never should have been.
Yeah.
In this version, it
I
shouldn't have
agree.
been this way, and we unpacked all that. And so for those reasons, it's a throbbing F, and it makes me sad that that's the case because I love Michael Keaton. I love like. Who thought of Wolf Rockhard Jackson? They did / we did.
Yeah.
Well,
we made
plus-
it better. Let's be
Yeah.
honest here.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to do that. West Side Boys out here ruining our shit. I yield the rest of my time, throbbing F.
I don't know how F's throb, but I'm not going to go there.
This one did.
It's fair. I said I wasn't going to go
At
there.
least it wasn't a throbbing D. That would have been a problem.
Well, you did it. I thought you were gonna dodge that one.
No.
He always wants to throw out the
No,
D.
no,
Sorry,
he's
go on.
Matt is pouting now
Your
because we're
turn.
talking during his turn. Go ahead,
I'm
Matt.
sorry.
I'm letting you
sorry.
guys cook. This is
Sure.
clearly very important to tell the listeners about all the letters that are throbbing in your lives. I would rate this. I thought at one point I might give it a D, just a regular D.
Not a throbbing one.
But the more we talked about it and the more I think about it, I think I'm with like Luciano. It's like I wanted to like this movie so much that it just being kind of a side quest NPC mess trench coat situation makes me disappointed and slips me down to that E because I am disappointed in what they gave me. And it's not an F for me like it is for Chris, and it doesn't throb because Michael Keaton is still really good at being Beetlejuice, and at times it really feels like a fun Beetlejuice movie. So it still does enough that it wasn't a complete waste of my time.
Yeah.
But but it's not like a fun time.
Yeah,
Is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice, not like a fun time.
Yeah. It doesn't really suck. That's the tagline. Yeah.
It throbs. It doesn't suck.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be hard to suck while you're throbbing, I think.
Yeah, I think that's well. Good news. We're gonna talk about a different movie next week entirely.
Please.
We are venturing back into movies that end with the letter S, and we're gonna watch Twisters
Ooh.
2024.
Because this is also not a sequel that took 20 years to happen or something.
No, God, no.
Whose vehicle is this?
Whose vehicle is it? I mean, the lazy person would say Glenn Powell. It's probably I'd say Glenn Powell so you all know what movie I'm actually talking about,
Probably.
just so it makes sense. But like, who do I really want to pick? Maura Tierney, probably.
There's also. I gotta put.
Isn't
respect on his
Helen
name.
Hunt in this?
No, that's Twister.
Oh, she's not. So she didn't even Laura Dern. She just fucked off. It's like, okay, no, I don't. I'm not coming back. Okay.
To my recollection, no one from. I don't remember seeing anyone from the original movie in this one.
Oh boy, that. Well, that could go two very different ways. It could really be like a fun movie that doesn't really care too much, or it could be a real shitter. Like.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, it could be the David Cornsweet vehicle, Superman.
He's in this?
better.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is.
His last
I'd
name
rather
is
do
Cornsweet?
Anthony Ramos.
Corenswet.
Oh, I thought about sweaty corns.
Sweaty corn. Yeah, who doesn't?
I don't know what
Eventually,
that is, and I'm
in their
not gonna
lives,
go
who
there.
doesn't think about sweaty corns? Yes.
Happens all the time.
I'm trying to say sweaty corns.
Sweaty,
No, I'm
sweaty
not.
corn.
I'm not Sean Connery.
Anyway, so that's a movie.
No, like this. Okay.
Twitters?
Twitter?
Twisters.
Oh, imagine
Hey.
that movie.
Twitters.
I don't want to.
I don't want to watch
They
that.
were trying to communicate
Don't.
online.
No, we're not gonna. No,
That's
no,
a
we're not
horror
even
movie
gonna.
if I've ever
It's
seen
a
one.
horror film. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Okay.
But yeah, Twisters 2024. Pick your character vehicle or watch it. So tune in next week for that. It's got to be better than this, right?
It has to be.
Sure, let's go with that.
It has to be.
Sasha Lane is in this movie.
Who is-
saved?
who is
saved? That movie
Okay.
saved.
Okay.
Great job. You'll
Sure.
see who it is soon enough, Chris.
Okay.
Twisters next week. Watch it. Hopefully, no one gets food poisoning. We skip another week.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. Yeah.